Hey Las Vegas, thanks for joining us back here at Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show. I'm Trish Williams.
And I'm Tiana Carroll. Welcome back.
Yes, we are here. It is the beginning or second week of March right now. So we're going to be talking about your market update in March from all of the closing out numbers from February. They've been reported, and we have a lot of numbers to go over today, and a lot of insight of what's been going on and what's going to be going on.
What those numbers mean and what they're projecting us forward, moving up into spring in our market, which is very cool. So I guess there's a few headlines I do want to talk about, but we want to talk about numbers. But what do you want to do first?
Let's start with the news. What's going on in the headlines?
Okay, well, there's a few money moves this week with billionaires in real estate. So a few names you guys might know, like Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk.
What are they doing?
They are now investing in things having to do with real estate. So Warren Buffett invested over $1 million in a company that is all about building supply chain for residential, commercial buildings.
Okay.
So he's expecting that market to boom in the next couple of years, at least the building end of it in real estate. So that happened. And then Elon Musk made a deal with Lennar in Austin because that's where he's housing his companies now. Okay. And they moved out of California. They're in Austin, boring. And so that around his factories that are being built, he's having or partnered with Lennar to supply housing. So employees of the factory and the surrounding area will have housing close to where he's working.
And brand new housing.
Brand new housing, which is crazy because there's a lot of Lennar houses available in Austin.
Yeah.
No, but it's thoughtful and convenient,
amazing.
and he's making money off of it, which is typical Elon Musk fashion, right?
Yeah. Dude is smart. You can't.
Is he?
He seems pretty intelligent.
Cunning, maybe? I don't know.
I've driven the car, so I'm like, yeah, he is pretty intelligent, way smarter than a lot of people I know.
Well, he is a forward thinker. How's that?
Forward thinker, absolutely. And then there was another thing here locally.
Okay, so now local real estate news is kind of awesome, which I think this is something, you know how we always talk about they take away Vegas history so rapidly. Now you get a chance to own a piece of Vegas history if you'd like, because Siegfried and Roy's estate is up for sale. It went on the market this week for $3 million.
Does it come with the lions?
It does not come with the lions, but it does come with all of the animal habitats. Oh. The house sits the way it was, and it's 4 parcels with 4 different houses in one big estate, gated, and lots of waterways and beautiful gardens, a bird aviary, all the animal enclosures.
No, I never thought that I would hear myself ever say this, but $3 million's not a bad price for what I've seen the property to be.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I think some of that is reflective of its history, and then of course the appreciation over the years has just gone up and up and up. Because I think it was like 1.2 they were going to sell it at one time, like 5, 6, 8 years ago. Who knows?
Different market.
Who knows? My timeline is all over the place. Yeah. Things that were years ago feel like yesterday, and yesterday I'm like, what did we do?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that. That's real estate life.
Is that what it is? Okay, good. It's not like some weird brain fog that I have. It's just the real estate that we're in.
Yeah, no, our life operates in cycles of housing trends where it's like 30 days is 1 year.
Right, the last 3 years were a year for me. It's crazy. So, so I thought that was interesting, you know. Yeah. So if anybody wants to own a piece of history and check out the Siegfried and Roy property, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. $3 million. Hey, people coming from California, that's just like an entry-level home, right? So,
yeah, exactly. That's a standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath on the beach. It's fine.
Yeah, so.
Now you get a piece of history, and if you like animals, it has all the animal enclosures. Or maybe you want to use it for other things. You decide, it's your house. I'm not judging. Just call me to buy it.
Yep. Yeah, well, you know, it'd be nice to have your own pet lion, so.
Yeah, that seems. I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with meat eaters.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe just a giraffe.
Even though I do love cats, so maybe I would like a lion.
Yeah, it's just a big cat.
Yeah, just a big kitty.
Yeah, yeah. Or a giraffe. Giraffe would be
Oh,
good.
okay. So if I had my choice of animals, it would be elephants.
Okay.
I love elephants.
Have you ever went, totally off topic here, but there is a lion.
Welcome to Real Estate Show. We
Yeah.
love elephants.
There's a lion habitat in
The Mirage.
over by Inspirata. By Inspirata, lion something
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary, that's the word for it. And there's a giraffe there that will paint you a picture. So you should definitely go see it. People, if you haven't gone and visited, go get it. Get that giraffe to paint you a picture, and you can keep it in your home on your wall. I've sold homes that have those photos.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
I like how you tied the animals back to real estate. So good job.
Yeah, no,
You get a
that's
gold
why
star.
I learned about it. I was like, wow, that's an interesting painting. And my seller says the giraffe painted that. And I was like, I need more details. Tell me more.
Right. Like, so that's a little vague.
Yeah,
We're going to have to dive into what that means.
Tell me about how this happened. So that is what I learned. And you should definitely go visit. You can see the lions and meet the giraffe.
Okay, cool. So back to our analytical numbers. Before we dive into what happened in February, let's talk about what's happening right now.
Right now, this week.
Things move swiftly here. And it's all happening. So we report every week on our local Las Vegas real estate numbers. So if you haven't yet, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channels. That way you are always notified when we have new updates. And most people do appreciate the monthly market review that we do. And before we get into that, we're going to talk about the weekly numbers. So our single family homes this week are
4,444 homes on the market.
That's
Guys,
a lot of fours.
Yeah, that is a lot of fours. Is that lucky? Is 4 a lucky number?
Well, okay. Yeah, it depends upon who you are, right? Lots of people like angel numbers or synchronicities. So
Okay.
4, 44, 4444, those are all good luck and stability, grounding, home life.
Don't the casinos like leave out the 4th floor though, or is that the 3rd floor? I forget what this is.
It's the 13th floor in a lot of
Is it the
casinos.
13th floor? I was totally off. Okay.
Yeah, you're like, so single digits. I don't know. Maybe they leave off the 4th floor. I'm sure. In certain cultures, it's a bad number, like 4s and 5s. So like, oh, we don't mess with that.
Well, you know how we could correct this? Let's get out and sell a home today. We got to change that number.
Do we? I like the 4. You sell the house today. I'll let you get that one because I'm staying with the synchronicities.
All right. Price decreases. We had 601 drop this week.
Yeah, less price decreases than last week
Yes.
and the week before.
Absolutely.
So we're seeing less and less adjustments on those prices.
Yeah, numbers going down. Just a sign that people are either pricing right or they're not needing to do much adjustments to get the buyers in. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. Those numbers low are good. And there's always price decreases, even in the hottest market. We still see them.
And price increases because there's
Yeah.
price increases as well. And they adjust them and shift them according to what the sort of action that property is seeing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then sold. We have 626 that actually sold and closed this week.
We did.
Good number.
Good number,
Yeah.
solid number.
Yeah.
So that's on track for a lovely March for us to have when we do our update next month.
Okay, yeah. We're looking at close to, we're hovering around that 3,000 a month in closed sales, which is a great, healthy number. So I think we're going to be pretty close to that this month, which is good. Our spring's looking good. It's looking healthy, not crazy, but not too slow either.
Right, right. So when we were going over numbers yesterday in our meeting, there was some talk about what the numbers are doing and how they're moving. And somebody said, it's low inventory and low activity. But it's not so much low activity. It's just the motivations are different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, inventory is dropping.
Inventory is
Do not
dropping.
forget this. Do not overlook this. This will have an effect on everything. We are seeing dropping inventory month over month. So buyers, this is huge. This is these concessions. It's closing cost. If there is not inventory, It doesn't matter what's going on in the market with rates, with whatever. If there is not inventory, there's a supply and demand issue, and those concessions are going to go away because the buyers that want to buy are not going to have as big a pool to choose from. So the sellers are going to have the upper hand there. So pay attention to that inventory dropping. It will affect your purchasing. And sellers, that's good for you in getting your home ready and getting it on the market, because you're not going to be amidst the big flood of homes that are on the market. You're going to be, one of the ones that stand out, as long as you make sure. It's a price war and a beauty contest still is.
Yeah,
make
even
sure you
as we
price
slip
right
into
and
that.
show correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even as we slip into that seller's market that it looks like we have the potential to do, because our sales are still moving, we're not seeing as many homes come on the market, then it looks like that's a possibility. So to put that in perspective, today we have 4,444 homes. In last spring, we had about 1,800 homes, and in fall, we had close to 7,000-8,000
Yeah,
homes.
so I think we hit 7,000 at one point.
Okay. Oh,
or
yeah.
very, very darn close to it. If we didn't, it was, we had a lot. So we're at a healthy number right now. We're in a good spot.
Yeah, because what is it, like 4.5 months worth of inventory, or 2.5 months of inventory?
Yeah. So technically, it's not even it's not a buyer's market. Yeah,
No.
Has to be over 4 months to be a seller's market. So there's another thing. Interest rates went down 0.5 point.
Yeah, and then it created a frenzy. What's with that?
Well, hey, they just announced again that they're raising the rates again. So, again, it takes a while to trickle over into mortgages.
If it does, because of the February meet when the Fed, they bumped that up a bit.
They bumped it up, but then the rates dropped.
Right, but then the mortgage industry was like, nah, we're not playing like that.
We can't predict it, right? It's you think you know what they're going to do or what's going to happen. They change it all up on us.
Keeping it exciting.
There's some local credit unions that are in the city that are offering their rate standard 5.9. Yeah, 5.9. So that's something, options to check out, to look into. You do have to be a member, but as far as I'm
I think it's
aware,
just being local, right?
Being local, you open an account. Their criteria is obviously a lot stronger than some of the other lenders out there. Credit unions tend to be a little more conservative on their pre-approvals, but definitely options to look out to, because rates are a factor. And getting buy downs and things like that, there's options there. Our median sales price on single family homes actually raised a bit.
It did. We had an uptick. And when I saw that, I was like, so we're not going to crash in spring? No, we have appreciation. Our price has gone up. A smidge, but it happened.
A smidge, yeah. We're not seeing 22% increases like we were in 2021.
And 2022, that was insane.
Yeah, but we are seeing appreciation still happen. So
yeah,
it's the long game, guys. It's a long-term investment. Watch what the billionaires are doing, because they're still investing in real estate. They didn't stop, so
they didn't stop, and they are investing on the build end. They're putting more houses out there, which is great for areas like Vegas. We get like 60,000 people a year. We're the 4th largest urban city of growth.
Really?
We're growing, yeah.
Huh.
So, and our appreciation just went up, so it's not crashing the way everybody was hoping is. I know all the buyers out there have been like, I'm going to buy when it crashes, are going, oh, that's not good news.
I've come to the realization that, if it crashes, it's going to have to be something like crazy that happens in the world, and none of us want that.
You mean like a pandemic or a war?
That didn't even work. That didn't
Something crazier? What are you wishing upon us?
I'm not wishing upon nothing. No, I don't want to crash. However, you talk to I've recently talked to just, average person that's going to rent an apartment that's almost $2,000 a month, 2-bedroom apartment in decent area. And they're just like, yeah, that's the going rate. And I'm like, wow, so it's not, people are, with cost of living increases and inflation and all the things that we're dealing with right now, that's the norm. So,
well, I think it's resiliency too. Like, it is what it is, and they have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, The money is the money that has to go out, and you have to hustle or find ways to make it work. And people are finding ways to make it work, which is ridiculous, because if you're going to scrape together $2,200-$2,300 a month for your first apartment, get your first townhome.
Exactly. And that's where those conversations went, is why are you
renting? That's so stupid.
That sounds totally insane to me. Why would you pay $2,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment when you could own your own townhouse or condo for less than that in most cases?
I couldn't even imagine being like young 20s thinking that I could pay a $2,000 a month apartment.
If you would have told me I had to pay $2,000 a month for rent when I was in my 20s, oh my gosh, no. I
would be like, okay, me and my 7 roommates got this.
Yeah, no, I had 3 roommates in a rental when I was 21, I think. We had 3 roommates, $700 a month rent. And there were some of the roommates that still would always be late on rent.
Oh, yeah.
We're splitting it between 3 people, and it was $750, I think. And yeah, no, we were a different breed back then.
Yeah. Well, I never had her. Well, that's not true. I did have Tasha as a roommate for a bit. So.
Yeah, she was my roommate too. So she was one of those 3. So
yeah,
we were in that house. So.
Well, I hope she was the one that paid on time.
She always paid on time. She was very good, very good. It was the boys that were the bad ones that never came on time. So let's see, the housing numbers for February have closed out. They've been reported, so let's go over what happened in February.
Well, that is what this episode's about, so that's a good idea. I think we finally got there.
We got there. Okay?
Yay, we full circle. Yeah. Okay, so housing snapshot for the entire month of February. We ended up with just single-family homes, 1,722 that ended up closing.
Okay.
450 condo townhome units that ended up closing, so we're just under 2,200 in Vegas for closing sales last month.
Not bad.
So, well, it should have been more, but it's closer to the number, because in January we should have seen about 2,200 closed sales, and we saw about 1,100 closed sales. Mm-hmm. And so this month, February, is usually like 2,600 closed, and we're pretty close between the condos and the single families. We're just under 2,200.
Yeah. So it's down 5.6% in single family from last year, and down 1.9% in condos and townhomes from last year. It's not, it's down, not up, but it's not tremendous. So
I don't think the 1% counts as a crash, right? Right? I'm always going to come back to the crash.
Even the 5.6. That's not a crash. That's not a crash. That's a downward adjustment. And the beginning of 2022 last year was madness. So it's definitely, when you look at that into comparison of right now, we can't compare any market that we're in or going to see from here on to 2021, 2022, saying that was normal, because there was nothing abnormal. There was nothing normal about that market. So that we should just forget that it even happened.
But it feels like we're getting closer to normal and stabilizing, because those numbers each and every month are getting closer and closer to what healthy average growth should be.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I'm mad.
Yeah, so new listings, 2,243 in February, single-family home, 616 new listings in condos and townhouses. So we're close to the 3,000 number there in new listings that came on the market. And the median price of those new listings for single-family was $470, and for condo and townhouses, $273, $450. We're still seeing pretty strong prices in condos and townhouses.
Yeah. I guess in some markets, prices on condos and townhouses, or the demand and closed sales for them, are not so high, so they're sort of looked upon as if they're secondary real estate, like the evil stepchild, but they're not here. And when people are like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to buy a townhome because of the resale value. And I'm like, not in this market. We resale just fine. Condos, townhomes, single-family homes, $1 million homes, luxury. It doesn't matter. We move it all.
Yeah, and they always rent well. It's always those entry-level homes, too. And they do seem to sell pretty fast in most cases. And I still have those buyers. They're like, hey, you know what? How about a condo or townhome for $150? They're still no such thing. I mean, there's far and few in between of stuff that is in that price point, but it's definitely going to be much older, much pretty run down for that price. It's
got decades of wear and tear on it, like me.
Yeah, for something that is turnkey, newer, we're still going to be in those high 2s, low 3s. Very easily on condos and townhomes.
Oh, yeah. And it's still a good option. Strong market for them. They move, they sell. They're just as happy and healthy as our luxury or our single family.
Absolutely. Units available. This is inventory on the market as we closed out in February. So right now, today, we're 2 weeks later. So it's kind of like this number doesn't really matter anymore, but it does matter because that's what February closed out at. We had 4,665 units available. That was up 167.9% from February the year before, but that's because it was
the shortage
inventory.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That number is going to be like the big growth that we see, and that's simply because we just didn't have anything.
Yeah. So we have 2.7 months of availability. So that basically means if everything sold in the timelines that everything have been selling and nothing came on the market, we'd sell out of homes in 7 months. But that number, 291.2% higher than it was last year, because last year I think we had like 1.5 months of inventory around this time.
Yeah.
It was
I remember
scary.
it was scary because I kept thinking, like, is it going to get to the point where we don't even have 30 days of inventory? And I don't think that the average person even knows or cares what that is. But when you're in real estate, that's your lifeline, right? If you have no product, you have nothing to sell. What do?
Right.
And when we were getting close to 30 days of inventory, I was like, woo. This is the Wild West, folks.
I remember being absolutely stressed out because I was like, we're going to sell out of homes. That was it. They're going to be gone. The shelves are empty. Like it was
a forced
going.
retirement.
Yeah. I was like, what are we going to sell? I got to find something to sell.
Yeah.
So that was, it was a weird, it was a weird time. Again, we can't really compare that because that wasn't a normal market. It was a very odd market. And I remember going back in time, which seemed like forever ago, but it was just last year, in family reunion, Gary Keller had said, we are in uncharted territory with this inventory shortage. He was like, nobody has ever been here. Nobody's ever worked through this. Nobody's ever seen this low of inventory.
High five,
what are we going to do? We did. We made it through. We were just navigating something that had never happened before. And it was different. It was different. So I'm glad to see we have inventory again.
It was scary and fun and exciting and nerve-wracking. And then, but the highs were super, super high and the lows felt like you were in the dirt. Because I remember I had some buyers that were just being beat out. They couldn't come over the appraised value the way these cash buyers were throwing money at properties. And that was like heartbreaking. But on the flip side, when you did secure a contract, you were doing your happy dance. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but there would be like, there was a time during the height of it where even sellers were acting crazy. Like, I could sell my home myself. I'll put it on Zillow and it'll sell. And it did.
It did.
And then they got themselves in messes. I mean, let's not pretend like that wasn't messy, because it was.
It was. And they left themselves open to litigation. There's been all sorts of horror stories about
there's
that.
There's been some backlash.
And this,
from things that have happened back then. I've been hearing about it a lot. Lots of backlash came through.
Me too.
There was, and it's still, even in those times with everything chaotic and everyone acting crazy, I was still trying to act, like, let's not waive a home inspection.
Oh, yeah.
Even though there's 50 offers, let's still remember this is a home you're trying to purchase to live in.
We're still going to need due diligence.
Yeah, so, still trying to keep your ground while everything is crazy. And that, I would say that actually lost me business in some aspects.
You were stressed out, but it was really noble because you were always like standing your ground and you weren't falling chaos, because there were some agents who were just enjoying the Wild West. They were guns in the air, pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, you want to waive everything, go ahead.
Let's do it. We get it, because they were just raking in cash, getting their cash buyers in. But there's been some backlash, and I'm sure the division hearings, I'm going to go to one next week, I'm super excited about, is going to be fun, and I'm sure there's going going to be something somewhere in there about bad conduct during that time, some sort of reprimand for some agents, and then I'll go watch it with my bowl of popcorn.
Yeah.
Be like,
yeah.
that wasn't me. I made him get the home inspection. We even had a warranty. What's up?
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, you know, like going back, it's like you just got to remember, you're not going to be in that market forever.
Right.
And you don't want to have to be answering back for it later. So, condos and townhouses, units available at the end of February, 1,155, 2.6 months availability. Definitely, that is right in line with where single family was, except for it's 443% higher than last year on condos and townhomes.
Yeah, that's such a big rise in numbers.
Yeah,
But
well,
again, Wild West, does it even count? I mean, it counts. We're talking about it. It does
Yeah.
feel like forever ago, but it was just last year, so it's relevant. And I think right now in the market that we're in, looking month over month is definitely more beneficial to keep you in line with what's happening with your buyers and sellers and informed versus looking back to that, because 443% over the prior year is nuts.
right. And the average price of units sold in February were 494,930. So kind of a lower price, though the average price of units available is 716,146. That's just an indicator where those price reduction numbers we're seeing, that's where
Yeah.
they are coming into play. Because obviously they're selling a bit lower than they're listed, and we see that. We're seeing that in the market. As inventory starts to shorten, we're going to see that less and less.
Yeah.
And that is a factor. And then 2.7 months of availability. Time on the market. This is a question sellers always want. How long is it going to take you to sell my home? Well, there's a lot there. That's always a loaded question.
It is a loaded question, and I always, make it real clear to people, like, the market is its own life force. It's going to do what it's going to do. We can give you the best guess.
Data.
Yeah, we have information. This is what it's saying. This is what it should be.
Yeah.
But days on market is a loaded question because they want to know how fast can I sell my home, and I'm always like, what are you going to do to sell your home? Like,
Yeah.
if I tell you this is a beauty contest, are we going to make it beautiful?
Yeah.
If I tell you I need it to be available to every eye, are you going to make it available?
Yeah, and it is, and are we going to price it right?
Exactly.
Because I know that I've spoke with sellers that say, I'm motivated, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and I say, well, this is what it takes, and they do it, the house sells. But there's times where I say, this is what it takes, and they say, no, I'm not doing that. Okay.
That's
so
the caveat, right?
That's where we have to wait. And the long game's fine. However, if you're not getting showings, you're not getting any foot traffic inside the door of that listing, you're fighting an uphill battle right there. So
Yeah,
that
it's
is
all
very,
about the accessibility and having eyes on it and appealing to the most amount of people because it's a
Yeah.
numbers game.
It is a numbers game. So the market does determine that. And sometimes there's adjustments. We can stay ahead of them or we cannot. Staging's always, a great option. It's proven fact that staging sells homes faster. So the average, the homes that sold 0 to 30 days, 41.1% of homes sold within 30 days, which is good. That's a really good number there. 60 days or less, we had 19.9% of homes selling 60 days or less. 90 days or less, 13.2%. Less than 120 days is 10.9%, and more than 120 days, 15%.
Yeah.
So and there's always those listings too that like just have the sellers that just kind of didn't, they don't cooperate. I get those, in
Yeah,
those.
or what about those listings that are hundreds of days old that are just sitting there that are priced ridiculous?
Right. It's non-cooperative sellers. There's times where people, especially, we're seeing so much of it right now. People priced or they came on the market during the time when everything was shifting, and then they refused to accept the market that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And they are saying, oh, let's wait till it comes back. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. I don't know what the whole mindset is, but the listing's still on the market. We still have a listing contract. You just,
It's just dead in the water.
Yeah, it's like they rolled over. They're playing dead right now. They're just like, I don't care. I don't care what happens.
Just running the clock out.
Yeah, so it happens. I'm seeing that a lot. I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm sure that's going to go away because now going into it, the expectation is, and I said this a few months ago, I started, I had a couple of those, and then I started going to listing appointments saying, you know what? I'm not going to take this listing. If that's your mindset, I'm not taking this listing.
Yep.
So
and then they call you 2 months later and say, "You're right. Take my listing."
Yeah, exactly. So that that is unfortunately there's a lot of those people, and we're still seeing those contracts are starting to come due. So we'll start to see those fall off the market soon, and maybe they just never wanted to sell anyways, or what.
I have one in a community that's a market manipulator. It's a little condo community, and the little one bedrooms, less than 900 square feet, should be about 225. But there's an investor who has quite a lot of property in there, and he has one perpetually on the market for like 325,000, 100,000 over. And every time you try and run comps in that area, that's active shows up, and anytime he sells, he's like, but there's one for 299, 325, and I'm like, but that's yours. It doesn't count. It's not real. But other people see it and they use it, because there's been a few in there that have gone up to like 235, 240 using that comp, and it's like 500 days on the market.
Right. Absolutely. That's there's those. So we do. Those are part of that 15% over 121 days.
Yep, the market manipulators.
Market manipulators. That's a good term for that. I'm going to start using that.
Feel free. Feel free. It's all yours.
Yeah. So,
but I do like that 40% do sell in the 30 days.
Oh yeah.
I love a fast-moving market.
Yeah. And even the 19% within 60 days. Those together, that's our market. Those are the motivated sellers that are serious, motivated, willing to do what it takes to sell their home. That's the real market that we're looking at.
And our fast market scares some people, especially if you're coming from a slower market. And they're like, wait, we're going to be closed in 30 days? Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, well, we're in Vegas. Get used to it.
Yeah, Vegas, baby.
Everything here operates fast.
The facts.
So, guys, it's been great. This is our March 2023 market update. So we will be bringing you these numbers every month, and we're here every week. If you're watching our show, like, comment, share, download, tell your friends about us, keep sharing us, get us out there. We have been reporting what's going on here in the market for a few years now, and we're keeping you up to date, like real time, what's happening. So make sure to tell people this is a resource for anybody that's interested in real estate on any aspect in Vegas.
Yeah, and not only is it a great resource to get that up-to-date information, but we'll also make ourselves available. If you have a question, you can call either one of us. How do they get a hold of you, Trish?
702-308-2878. That's my cell phone number. Call me, text me. If I don't answer, I do return calls, so don't worry. Just leave me a message.
She even likes email.
I answer my emails too, but sometimes they go to spam. I can't control the whatever Google does or whatever that is. So there's always that. So call or text is the best way to get a hold of me.
That's
Tiana,
how you get a hold of me too.
You?
Yeah, I'm a caller or a texter. That's the best way to get a hold of me. So 702-379-9948. That is my number. You can call me, text me.
Yeah.
I'll give us some good answers.
Yeah, if you text me, just like don't be like, hey, and then like nothing else after that, because then I'm like thinking it's something weird.
Who is this? Don't be weird. Yeah. What do you want? No. Yeah. No, if you're gonna call me or text me, we're gonna have to talk real estate.
Yeah, let's do an introduction. So let's do an introduction first. And no, I mean definitely. Sometimes people may be wanting to talk real estate, but they start with that like weird hey text, and you're just like, what's this all about? Like I don't know what this is.
But I got usually it's investors who text. They're like, hey, I'm looking for distressed properties, and I'm like, great. What are you looking for?
Give us a rundown. We'll open a dialogue. So most definitely. Thanks guys for tuning in. And we'll see you next week on Vegas Realty Check.
Have a great week, guys. Bye.